Hi, everyone.
Yo,
All of you. Hello.
how are you?
How are you?
I'm fine. I was asking them, but hey,
I
Brian.
know. I know. I just figured. Uh, hi, Chris. Good to see you.
Hi,
Oh, we have
Professor
Professor
Feather.
here and Paula Trigg. Hello, both of you.
Yes.
Paula's back from her shipwrecked experience.
How was that? I'm sure it was shipwrecky.
Shipwrecky.
Yeah.
Zombie Mortuary's here. Hello, Zombie Mortuary. Uh, got some good stuff going on. That's
Yes, we
cool.
do.
Uh, so it's been a week, man.
It has been. It's been one hell of a week.
It has been a week. And since I'm having a hard time breathing, I think I should smoke a cigarette.
Yes. Why
All
don't you?
right. So you look good today.
Yeah, you look good every day.
Oh, thanks. I appreciate that. I try.
Yeah.
I do. Uh, but yeah, so tonight's movie is The Invitation.
Tonight's movie
It's
was The Invitation.
yes. And hmm, let's see.
Yeah.
Once again, if you are watching this in a replay, really appreciate you. And
Try catching us live one time.
yeah, we'd love to talk to you.
We
We
have
really
fun.
would. We do have fun. All sorts of fun.
Yeah.
Weird fun. Not weird fun.
It's usually weird fun.
Some fun.
I have a hammer.
I don't know why you have a hammer.
Weird fun.
Weird fun. Okay, that's fair.
Yeah.
That's fair. Usually I look very pale, but today I look like I'm on the Donald Trump tanning team.
Yeah. We got a new game tonight.
We do have a new game tonight,
Yeah.
and this one is sponsored by nobody as usual,
Yeah.
which is good. Uh, we'll discuss it later though.
Yeah.
Whenever let's see, we've got a few people in here.
Yeah. So we'll get into it, shall we?
Let's get into the invitation.
The invitation. The
Woo!
invitation.
Woo!
So, Evie lives in New York City. She's a struggling artist, but she's been making her living freelancing for a catering business with her best friend Grace, whom she lives with. Evie decides to take a DNA test. One of those 23andMe type deals. And she discovers she's got a distant cousin in England, and his name's Oliver Alexander.
It should just be pip pip cheerio, but yes.
Yeah, and it appears Oliver's going to be in New York, and he wants to meet, which is creepy in itself. So she decides to go meet this Oliver character,
As you do.
and she learns from Oliver that her bloodline is a bit of a scandal in the family because her great grandmother Emmeline had a secret child with a black servant of the estate.
He was a footman.
He was a footman. He took care of the carriages and whatnot.
Yes.
Yeah. So, rather forwardly, Oliver invites her to an upcoming family wedding in England. And she decides to go. So she arrives at the new Carfax Abbey, hint, where she meets the Lord of the Manor, name of Walter, and Mrs. Swift. A long time. She's been a maid there for a very, very long time.
Yes.
She also meets the rest of the Alexander family and the maids of honor. Lucy, who's very friendly, hint, and a condescending one named Victoria.
Bitch.
Yeah.
Bitch.
So Evie starts to notice some unsettling occurrences. She sees an apparition of Emmeline, who we see a flashback of her hanging herself off the balcony. in the front room, foyer area, if you will.
Foyer.
Yeah, maids start disappearing mysteriously, some somewhat violently.
Violent.
They're attacked by a shadowy figure. And then Evie and Walter start a little bit of a romance. And she gets into a locked room where she finds in Walter's office there is a folder of her on the desk with lots of personal information, and he chalks it up to, hey, we've never met. I don't know who you are for real. Oliver brings a lot of weirdos back here. I just want to make sure you're not, some kind of opportunist.
But he said it with a British accent.
Yeah, I can't do that.
No.
Anyway,
Right.
So she's like, yeah, I buy that. Let's fuck. So they do that.
Yeah. That's a good girl.
So the next night they have a rehearsal dinner for the wedding. And Evie's like, so when do I get to meet the bride and groom? And Walter stands up to make a toast and an announcement. And he's like, yeah, me and Evie are getting married. And she's like, huh? I missed that part. He's like, yeah, the families have been supporting us for hundreds of years, and what I need 3 wives. One of them is gone, so Evie's gonna take her spot. And one of the butlers slits the throat of a maid into a chalice and starts doling out wine glasses of blood to Lucy and Victoria and Walter. Turns out they're vampires, and all these powerful families have been feeding Walter and his wives humans to eat. And in exchange, he's like, hey, I'm not going to fuck with you. Yeah. So, because it turns out, Evie's great grandmother killed herself because she didn't want to be a part of it anymore, because she felt too much guilt killing all these people just to sustain her life. So she freaks out, and Walter's like,
hello, Neil.
Ladies, take care of Evie. Make sure she's ready for the wedding tomorrow.
The wedding.
Yeah. So Victoria locks Evie in a coffin.
As you do.
Yeah. And she explains that there's a lot of misconceptions about vampires. We can go out into the sun. It's all good. But then Mrs. Swift comes, and she's like, she breaks her out of the coffin. She's like, you got to go. Evie's like, what's going to happen to you? Mrs. Swift says, I'll get what I deserve. So Evie bolts out of the estate, and she makes it into town, and she runs into an elderly couple who are revealed to be Jonathan and Mina Harker. Hint, for help, but they knock her unconscious because they work for Walter.
Bastards.
Yeah. Evie wakes up, and she's with one of the maids and Walter. Walter reveals himself to be Dracula, as in the Dracula. Evie watches Walter bite the maid and falls unconscious. When she wakes up, Evie's in a wedding dress, walking down the aisle to wed Walter. As they finish exchanging vows, she bites Walter's arm, consuming his blood, and instantly transforms into a vampire.
Instant.
And then she sets the wedding chapel on fire, stabs Walter in the heart, and it like rapidly ages him, and flees with another one of the maids. Victoria's pretty pissed off and ambushes Evie, and the maid helps her and then runs away. Victoria attacks Evie again, and Lucy intervenes because she was the nice one. And then two vampires fight. Lucy impales both Victoria and herself on a spear, and they just turn into ashes.
Ashes, you know.
Yeah, ashes. Evie is then attacked by Miss Fields, who's wielding a spear. No, by the butler Field, wielding a spear.
Wendy,
who states that he wished he had killed her great-grandfather and grandfather before she kills him by breaking off the spearhead and stabbing him in the chest. She's then chased by a wall-crawling Walter, who grabs her by the throat. She breaks free by severing his wrist with a cutting wire and kicks him into the flames. He burns alive, and she loses her powers because, you know, he's the head vampire and shit. And she reverts back to human form. She escapes. The entire manor is engulfed in flames.
It's done.
So 2 weeks later, she's in London. Evie and Grace have tracked down Oliver, and who he's getting ready to, you know, bolt. He's paid off the police, and then they intend to kill him, and that's the invitation.
That's the invitation.
That is the invitation.
First off, good job, sir.
Thank you.
Yeah, very good job.
That was the invitation. So,
did any of you in the chat who are watching or whatever, did you see this movie? What did you think about it? Let us know. We want to know. Chris, what did you think of it?
It was fine. I couldn't see most of it because it was shot with no light at all most of the time.
Very dark movie, yes.
I think it would have had a better impact if the twist wasn't so telegraphed. Like,
yeah,
you could see it coming. I mean, any of the twists, you could see them coming a mile away.
They were,
and then the whole we're vampires twist. They gave that away in the trailer. So there wasn't really a lot left for the movie to give its audience that it didn't give in the trailer. It's not much in the way of character development.
True.
And like I said, the twist is telegraphed a mile away. Just Carfax Abbey, Mina, Lucy.
Yeah, and why would you call yourself Walter if you could choose any name? I don't know.
It was fine. It was. I wasn't mad after I watched it.
I thought it was a pretty awful movie. Yeah. I thought it was boring. It was a chick flick. And I mean, don't get me wrong. I love a good rom-com, you know, but this was not it. I don't like my horror movies to be chick flicks.
Yeah. Evie's like, you've been spying on me. And then like the first explanation she gives, she's like, oh yeah, that tracks. Let's fuck.
Right. This didn't seem right. Didn't seem right at all. It was just the movie.
She was so smart for the first part of the film, and then she's like,
Yeah, I remember Walter Beer. It was boring, and yeah, it was hard to stay focused in it. It was. I
and
fell asleep
and
like 3 times and rewound it.
and the fact that you couldn't see whole parts of the movie
Yeah, that was a bit
didn't
much.
help it. Didn't help it at all. But that's a trend that plagues too many movies in the last 10 years.
Yes. Yeah, it
Where they're
really
just dark.
it wasn't much.
Yeah.
You haven't seen or heard of a movie like this? Well, now you have. The Invitation.
Yeah.
Hmm. All right. We're getting dings and
Yeah.
dangs.
Lots of dings.
Hold
Do
on one
not
second.
disturb that shit.
Oh,
Yeah.
I'm having a hard time breathing, kid.
Sorry, man.
Hmm. Yeah, kind of sucks. But that's all right because it's time to. I give this every thumb down and the hammer.
I'll give it a pinky. I'll give it a pinky and a hammer.
It's time for the horrible thought of the week.
Seize my inspiration.
All right. All right. It's time for the horrible thought of the week. Every week we do this, and this one's an easy one. Horrible thought of the week. This one's simple. If you have the opportunity to become a vampire, live forever young, do you do it? We want to hear what you have to say. Let us know. You could be a vampire and live forever. Do you do it? Professor Feather says yes.
I'm going to go with Freddie Mercury on this one and say no.
Okay.
Who wants to live forever?
I don't know. I'd like to. A little bit. I'm going to say yes. I'd do it. Audrey would do it.
I mean, I probably would, but like,
Yeah, I mean, it could get boring.
it probably would get boring after I don't know, probably after like the 400th year. Then you just step in the light and be like, yeah, I'm done.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah. Once you're bored, then you could be like, yeah, I'm done. Let's go.
That's fair.
Yeah.
That is fair. Anybody else? Zombie Mortuary would not. Paula Trigg, sure. Sure. Yeah. I don't know. Well, you don't get to live in what time you. I don't know.
Well, it depends when you became the vamp. Like you become the vampire now, and then you're stuck in, at your age now for the rest of eternity.
That would be weird.
It would be fun to live until we at least got flying cars for real.
For real.
Yeah.
Some Jetson stuff.
Right. That would be like the only reason to become a vampire and live for a really long time, just to be able to know that flying cars came out in your lifetime and Back to the Future just wasn't a bunch of bullshit.
True.
Yeah.
True that. You're pretty smart.
I try.
Oh, I wish we could take a quick commercial break, so we're going to go ahead and take this one. So my question is, why haven't you clicked that share button yet? Go ahead and do it. We want to see more people in here. We want to talk to your friends. We want to talk to you. I want you guys fighting with each other over things. This is going to be fun. Click the share button. All right.
Yeah, do what that guy says.
Click that. That guy was handsome.
He seems to know what he's talking about.
He does seem to know.
So, Brian, we have a new game tonight, correct?
We do have a new game tonight. It's actually, hold on one second. I've got to do a few things here. Chris, have you seen anything new? Tell the nice people in the chat about it.
Oh, yes, I have seen something new. This weekend we were privy to watch the Infinity Pool. And nobody's ever going to pick this movie, and nobody should pick this movie because this movie is going to make you want to find an adult. So go see Infinity Pool. It's pretty good. It'll make you question everything about existence. It's got Alexander Skarsgård in it and Mia Goth and a bunch of Europeans who are in the crazy shit. It's sci-fi, it's horror, it's bloody, and part of it's funny. So watch the Infinity Pool. It'll fuck your day up in every way possible. Other than that, try the Last of Us on HBO. Episode 3 just came out the other day, and it's ramping up pretty good. You give that one a shot.